Hello, my fellow movers and recessors. Coach Karlee here, and welcome to my home and my channel. I'm excited about this video. It's one that I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I just jumped into the ocean, so I'm feeling super based out and excited to share a little bit more about my background and my journey into the movement space and why I'm so passionate about coaching, educating, and inspiring natural movements of the human body to this day. So let's get into the fun. So before we get into it, you might notice I'm gonna be fidgeting a lot. I highly recommend, while I'm yapping away at you, that you make yourself comfortable if you have the opportunity. Maybe you're new here, but you will quickly learn that I love the floor. The floor is such a healthy place for us as humans, and so I do recommend that you get back to the ground and that you move with me. You're gonna see me probably fidgeting along the way, so obviously I highly encourage movement, and there is no expectations, just moving, talking, communing. I'm obviously talking to myself, which is a little weird, but I'm imagining that if you are here with me, you are laying on your back, maybe your legs are kicked up on the wall, maybe you feel like you want to get into some rockers, pigeons, just free flow. This is a safe place for you. So, who am I? What do I do? And why the heck am I so crazy passionate about it? Some people maybe call it obsession, but I do feel like it is a passion of mine. One of the quotes that I love to this day, it's stuck with me for a long time, and I believe it's a Mark Twain quote, but essentially it says, there are two important days in your life: the day you are born and the day you find out why. And my why truly is, I believe, especially the here and now, that I was given a voice and a body that was here to help others reclaim the healthiest movement they can so that they can do the things that they love to do here and now and for life all the way till the end, essentially. I don't know about you, but my life goal is to basically recess until I'm no longer here on this earth. And then maybe recessing up in the sky with the big guys. So that's my life goal. But essentially, I really truly feel like my purpose here in life is to help empower others to find movement freedom. And so to start, I want to talk a little bit about how I found myself in this very active role. And we have to go back to California. So born and raised California girl, West Coast, best coast, until discovered another pretty amazing state, which is where I am currently, the sunshine state of Florida. I love it here so much. I run on the ocean, I jump in the water. Whew, it's like a whole thing. But I do love how I grew up in such an amazing community, very similar to this one where I'm at now, small beach town in California. And you know, you never really have full appreciation of where you grew up until you leave, I think, oftentimes. But looking back now, I feel like I was so blessed. I'm so grateful for my upbringing, for my childhood, and especially my family. I grew up in a very athletic and active family. They instilled in me from a very early age a love of movement, a love of activities: hiking, swimming, biking, running around with friends, playing soccer, running track, playing basketball. Not playing basketball well, but nevertheless, trying my best. So growing up in California, the weather, it really is quite amazing. And so you're constantly just outside, active, running free. And I'm very grateful for that freedom that I felt as a child, because I'm able to, as an adult, reflect back on that and have that be my gold standard and something I'm always striving to get back to. And something that I try to instill and inspire others to reflect back on as well. So my mom, she grew up playing soccer and running track, and she ran track in college actually, which is where she met my dad, who also did some track and played football in college. So that's how they met. It's no surprise. I'm pretty sure that I came out of the womb kicking a soccer ball, just ready to take the field. But it's no surprise that my brother and myself just fell into a love of all things sports. You know, even my grandpa, he's one of my biggest role models. He passed away about a decade ago now, but he had such a love for athletics and just truly understood what it meant to be an athlete, and all the hours you put in and all the dedication and all the mindset work and just everything it takes to be an athlete. And I always carry that with me too. So I think it was probably just inevitable that I was going to find myself into the world of coaching again, but it would take a little bit of time to get there. I actually ended up going to Arizona State, which is where I ran long distance, cross country, indoor track, outdoor track, and even the summers were full of running. So I really can appreciate the beautiful art form of running. But again, it took me a while to fully understand how much that truly resonates with who we are as humans. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. But running is something to me I loved and I took for granted growing up. But what you take for granted really comes to the surface if you or anyone you know has ever experienced pain, injury, tightness, tension, compression. I mean, the list probably goes on and on. But if you've ever had movement taken away from you, you really know how powerful that is in your life and how important that is in your life. And so maybe you have been blessed and have not had to suffer from any of those things, and I don't wish that upon anyone, but it still warrants having some awareness as to movement in general and how movement impacts not just things like sports, athletics, fitness goals, extracurricular activities, but even those micro moments in our every single day life. It's that important. And I really did not understand that until it started to rear its head and really kind of show up in my face in a way that was painful to me, mentally, physically, emotionally, probably spiritually as well. When I started having chronic pain right around my senior year in high school. And then I started to carry that with me into college. So when I was in high school, my first big injury, I would say, there was always little nagging things that kind of just got dismissed. You know, it's very common, you brush it under the rug. But I started experiencing Achilles pain. And that really did a number on my body. Achilles pain, and then I started having hip pain. And I went to some pretty high-level competitions my senior year, but especially in track, I was unable to perform at the level I fully believe I was capable of. I really wasn't able to reach my full potential, not just in high school, but eventually into college as well, because of the pain I was in my hips. I had to sit out a majority of my senior season. Luckily, I still was recruited to Arizona State. That was a place that I really connected with the coach there. And so that's what drew me to the desert. I know, shocking. Hindsight is 2020, but you know, we have to go through all those battles in the past to get to where we are now. I fully believe that there are reasons for the seasons. Everything happens for a reason. All pain is preparation for the now. So I went to the desert. That's to say, I went to the desert and I tried to run. And again, I was met with chronic injury in my hips. I had stress fracture after stress fracture after stress fracture. It just seemed to be this revolving door. And nobody could figure out what was going on, what was wrong. You know, I've kind of lived and spent a lot of time at the physical therapy office, at the chiropractor. I tried so many different avenues of treatments. And I will say, before I continue with the story, I do believe that things like physical therapy, personal training, massage therapy, chiropractics, foam rolling, massage guns, all these avenues or ways of recovering are great accelerators of recovery if we fall back into quality movement after we've been treated. If we're using those things as band-aids, it again is that revolving door, and that's where I found myself in. I really couldn't something was missing, and I wasn't getting the answers or solutions that I needed. So I was just putting a band-aid on the issue and going right back into my everyday training and my everyday life without any awareness of the quality of my movement or how I was moving or how I was resting or how I was standing. So those things shaped who I am today to this point. But at the time, I was trapped in it. I was in the quicksand. I was stuck. And it was very painful for me all around. And because I battled a lot of those injuries, I ended up feeling a lot of disdain for movement in general. I really fell out of love with activity, with training, with running. And it wasn't until I graduated and moved away, I removed myself from that environment, and I continued some education in Oregon that I fell in love again with movement. That changed my life when in Oregon, I found the gym. As I say, I found the gym, or maybe the gym found me. I'm not really sure which came first. Nonetheless, I fell in love with weight training, specifically bodybuilding. That's where I was at after my collegiate career, because with bodybuilding, I did not have to run because running at the time was causing me pain for reasons I know now, but again, hindsight is 2020. I was in pain. I couldn't do much. I was very unhealthy. My body was put on a lot of weight. I felt so disconnected. I just did not know what to do. But I found the gym and I found people who helped me regroup, helped me pull my shoelaces, my bootstraps, as we say, pulled me up by my bootstraps, gave me some tools and gave me an outlet where I could challenge my body and my mind and my capacity for work through muscle-based training. It was a muscle-based model of movement, but just by default, it did give me an initial wave of strength. It gave me an initial wave of some more access to movements that I hadn't done ever before. And I saw results aesthetically, physically, mentally, emotionally. And so I really leaned into that environment for many, many years. I also supplemented and felt like I was strengthening with a yoga practice. I did Bikram yoga and I fell in love with Bikram yoga for a while. I feel like those two modalities of movement, very common for people with athletic backgrounds. After you leave a certain setting, you're still searching for that challenge. You're searching for something more. And you even see a lot of people as they become adults recognizing, oh dang, I need to supplement my movement. Because maybe I'm in school and sitting in desks for many, many hours. Maybe I'm working the 9-to-5 job that keeps me sedentary. Maybe I'm resting at home and I'm sitting a lot at home. So we do recognize we're moving less and we need to move more. And so naturally, whether it's a mobility practice or a strength-based practice, we tend to find ourselves in some kind of gym setting, essentially, some kind of gym setting. So naturally, as my love of training was increasing, my capacity and ability to train grew, I started exploring different modalities of movement. I would power lift, I would do Spartan training, circuits, HIIT training. I guess that's kind of, one and the same. But I would incorporate plyometrics, calisthenics, anything and everything. I wanted to do this because I just was so obsessed with it for primarily a certain time of the day. But outside of that, I never thought about movement, let alone the quality of my movement. So during those hours of training was really when I prioritized my how, per se, from what I was taught and trained and knew, but it really left me falling short. And I still was starting to battle micro injuries that I really couldn't put quite my hand on what was going on, because from what I had been taught and how I had been educated, my form was fine. It was the same thing that I was battling in college. Nobody could really give me an answer. So cut to, eventually I found myself out in North Carolina, which is where I found myself called back into a coaching role. And probably what changed my life, it really truly changed the trajectory of my life, was being given the opportunity to step into a lead coaching role. And I taught HIIT fitness classes, 30-minute HIIT workouts, for almost about a year and a half, 2 years. And it was amazing. I met amazing people. I found an incredible community of people wanting to push each other, inspiring each other, incredible transformations, people who thought they could not even for a second be athletic, accomplishing things that were amazing feats, aesthetically, physically, mobility-wise, across the board. But there was something missing. There was something missing that I really couldn't put my finger on. And I found that when it came to pain and injury, from what I'd been taught, form looked fine. I just would have people modify quite a bit. I really couldn't help them. I would do the best that I could with the tools and the resources that I had, but a lot of times I had to outsource their treatment or modify. I just kind of pushed to the side, don't know how to help you. So there's always something that bothered me about that, because I felt like, from everything I've been taught, and your body looks like it's performing really well at a high level. So it's interesting that something is wrong. I couldn't see the whole structure. I was focused on the muscle groups and maybe some rotational things, but again, from a very linear, robotic, muscle-bound model of movement. So that always just stuck with me. Then eventually I found myself with an opportunity to start my own business. And it actually was called Inner Athlete Fitness, because I fully believe, as I mentioned earlier, every single one of us, if you're moving and grooving, you're an athlete. If you're waking up in the morning and you're going out there and you're accomplishing something in your day, you're an athlete. If you're being disciplined, you're an athlete. If you're meal prepping at home, you're taking care of what you're inputting into your body. If you're taking care of your hydration and your sleep, your mental capacity, your mindset, you're an athlete. So it was really fun to start that in North Carolina, and that's something that I'll hold on to for quite a while. I'm very proud of that. It's continued to evolve and expand, but I am very grateful that that was my jump off point of getting back into doing something that I love so much and structuring training workouts the way that I felt like were fun and engaging and exciting, but challenging all the same. So I was able to connect with some people that were also in that same field of working with athletes again, and they showed me something bigger. They showed me an insight and awareness into a pattern of movement that nobody had ever told me before. And I was still not only coaching, and I loved it so much. I loved the role of coaching, but I was also athleting along the way myself. I still was challenging. I wanted more. I was doing more, playing soccer, pushing the needle forward. And yet I continued to ram my head against the wall because I still was battling injuries. And I had a really bad one that I think just set the tone for falling back into being open to receiving some new information, or some not even new information, just natural information when it came to looking at movement from a different lens. And I had another, surprise, surprise, hip injury. Another hip injury. And the coach that I was working with alongside at the time showed me a system of movement that really looked specifically at how we use our feet, how that connects up to our hips, and our entire system as a whole through time and space. It was a system that prioritized locomotion, our ability to carry our bodies forward upright, which is crazy. No other animal in the animal kingdom can do that. Upright and through time and space, defying gravity. Truly amazing. And with that opportunity to look at my system, not just from muscle-based model of movement, but from movement as a whole, it just really changed my entire life for the better. That whole journey, deep diving that world, connecting me with the coaches that I'm connected with today, the people I work alongside, the community that we're building, I guess it's a system of movement, but at the end of the day, it's so much more than that. And that's why I am the coach that I am, that focuses now not just on performance training, not just on fitnessing, not just on athleting, but truly giving people awareness of natural movement in all micro movements of your day-to-day life that can bleed and feed into all the other outlets, all the other things you love to do. And that's where I am at now. So I moved beyond a classic trainer and fitness coach. I feel like myself and the coaches I work with are so much more than that. We are so much more than that. I feel like we are truly giving people the recipe for longevity. And if you're open to it, we would love to share that with you too. Now, there is nothing new here. We're not claiming to know the answers, the magic pill. There is no magic pill. But if there's a little bit of awareness that can improve the quality of your movement in your day-to-day, you truly can improve the quality of your life. And so now I'm part of a group known as Primal Movement. It's really less of a system. Of course, there's exercises that we help guide people through, but it's truly an awareness and a community of people that just want to help other people find movement freedom and recess forever across the board with all kinds of activities. There's people that I know that love to surf, that love to do ultra runs, ultra hiking, climbing, trekking, volleyball, massage therapy, soccer. I mean, you name it, we do it. We love it all. Jiu-jitsu, that's the one that I'm really interested in lately. But we love to give people the tools so that their body and system can support them, not just in activities, not just in sport, but again, in life, long after those things. So what is primal movement? Well, essentially, think of it as primary, foundational. What are the patterns of movement that we as humans do from day one, so naturally, so instinctually, so innately in our body, that we can carry with us into our adulthood, into our entire lifetime until the end, until the end. And so those things are what we call primal movement. And we've learned from so many amazing people before us. You know, there's the quote, you stand on the shoulders of giants, and that can't be closer to the truth. I'm so grateful for the people who have done a lot of this work before me, because if it wasn't for their work and their bold voices and their daily choices to show up and to passionately speak on their truth, I would not be able to do that. I would not be able to show up and talk to myself to the camera and every day move my body confidently and capably because I know my truth. So I'm so grateful for all of those people who have done that work before me, and we can get into, I can always reference if you need people to read, books to read, people to follow, because there's so many amazing people out there doing this important work. We are on a mission of movement. We are on a mission to, again, help people reconnect and reclaim their capacity for work, for movement, to carry with them forever. With that being said, there are some primary things that I believe in. Maybe you choose to believe in them too. Maybe you're on your own movement journey, and that is okay. I just want to share a little bit about my philosophy so that maybe it'll plant the seed and help you start to deep dive or explore a little bit more in this as well. One of them is that locomotion is the foundation of all human movement. We as humans are designed to move forward in our life. It's our primary function. When we are children, our body is building strength and mobility and capacity for work to get us to the ability to crawl on all fours. We then take that ability to move forward and explore our environment and navigate the world and pick up how to speak and how to see and how to question and how to feel and how to grab and how to use our body to articulate and navigate the environments we're in. We take that into a very strong, again, upright, standing, rooted, grounded human posture, perfectly in place, perfectly aligned, perfectly decompressed. And then we take that into our ability to explore the world, to walk. What a beautiful thing it is to walk. I think I used to take for granted walking, especially being a runner. I feel like I could have just been there already. I could have just ran there and been there. The ability to walk is what allowed us to thrive and live for our entire lifetime, thousands and thousands of years. How amazing is that? And then ultimately the peak athletic expression, which is the ability of our human body to run. And my favorite, to sprint. And so in that ability to crawl, to walk, and to run, we also can continue that to throwing and swinging. And through those patterns of movement, we see one pattern of movement, which is our ability to spiral forward. This beautiful movement of energy, out to in. Think of a punch, out to in, a throw, out to in. I don't punch into out. I don't throw like this. It's this amazing wave of energy. Imagine a wave at the beach. I'm constantly looking at the waves, out to in, out to in. Because energy, from a scientific background, cannot be created or destroyed. It has to go somewhere. So I believe our body is able to absorb impact and transfer energy from one side of our body over to the other, and vice versa, carrying us forward through life very efficiently, very well, very intelligently. We're not these robots. We don't move like this. There is rotation that happens in our life, like a whip. Being out here on the East Coast, I'm sure if you've been out here on the East Coast, you've seen weather systems, especially those hurricane systems, moving in a spiral. The seashells I collect, moving in a spiral. You'll see there are thousands. I mean, oh my goodness, I could go on and on. It's so amazing. Thousands of examples of how motion is not linear. We are not linear. We are constantly ebbing and flowing with our energy, and we move in the spiral capacity. If you can see that lens when someone is crawling and walking and running and throwing and swinging, you can see so much of how they move, the quality of their movement. And it becomes very evident and very apparent when somebody is not spiraling, when somebody is stuck, when somebody is compressed, when somebody is stressed, when somebody's in pain, when somebody is tight and tense. You can see. So those are big two. Locomotion being our primary function, our ability to spiral through time and space, and the last one having to do with our natural resilience. I fully, fundamentally believe the human body is durable, is resilient, is intelligent, is designed to naturally heal us in this time. I think we have a lot of pain amnesia. I feel like we forget how it was to feel free in our body, and we start neglecting our body's ability to do its job. Our body is constantly signaling to us to get back to homeostasis, and we ignore it. We take medication to forget the pain. We start resting. We stop moving. We stop exploring. We start outsourcing our treatment. We start outsourcing our empowerment to heal ourselves naturally from within. And that is huge. I know that if my body is telling me your hip is tight, your ankle's hurting, your neck is tense, your stomach is inflamed, you're having digestion issues, your throat is scratchy, your ears ache, something is off in my body, my body is doing its job in giving me pain. It's doing its job telling me something is hurting so that I can find the solution. I can start to hydrate if I need to hydrate. Speaking of, where was I? We can start getting enough sleep. You can start getting yourself off the couch, get back to the ground, decompress, get off the screens, go outside, go for a walk. We can really start to take a look at ourselves in the mirror and really notice what is going on in our body and what does my body need on a daily basis. So those are three big foundations that I live by. And that is my approach to coaching. Truly, that is my approach to helping educate, coach, and inspire what is natural, what our body is truly capable of. And once you start to see enough people move in the world, it's hard to unsee it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you feel it, you really can't unfeel it. So my approach to training nowadays is similar. However, I prioritize the way that I'm moving forward through the world. My walk, my run, and my crawl, essentially. If something is off in those movements, I need to go assess and see what's going on in other areas of my life. And so what I teach people and what we teach people in primal movement especially is really this awareness, really asking the questions that more people need to be asking. It's maybe not as trendy, it's maybe not as flashy, it might not be as lucrative to some people. It might take a little longer to see results, but it's so powerful and it's so empowering and it truly is life-changing. And it is the magic pill. It truly is the magic pill without having to consume a pill. It is your ability to take back your life and know that the daily things you do can set you up for amazing things as you age, or give you the freedom to go confidently, like I said earlier, confidently and capably integrate into all the things that you love to do. I can go full send it at jiu-jitsu because I have the tools in my toolbox when I get home or before I go to realign, to reset, and to readjust, to feel really good. I can go to a soccer game and sprint, barely warming up. I can go participate in full sprints here at the gym that I work with and be very confident in my ability to do so. If I travel across the country to go back to see my family, I know and I can recognize that sitting in that chair is gonna do a number of things on my body, but I have the tools because I'm prioritizing the natural state of my human body so I can undo some things along the way. So it's not about restricting. It's not about telling you to do X, Y, and Z or to not do something. I want you to have the choice and the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. Now, there's certain things that I personally have stepped away from, I've walked away from, because I find that they did not serve my body a beneficial purpose anymore. I found there were alternatives to feeding those things. When it comes to strength training, I prioritize moving weight. I don't necessarily just lift it up and down anymore. I'm finding other ways to feed my flexibility. I'm finding other ways to feed my strength and capacity and volume from work and endurance. All these things that I love to do, I'm able to do it because of the lens that I approach it from a movement-based model, a locomotive-based model of movement, not just a muscle-based model of movement or a mobility-based model of movement. So for example, I will say right off the bat, I haven't deadlifted, barbell back squatted, any type of the classic horizontal powerlifting movements. I don't feel called to do those things anymore because I've found other ways that feed that power output, that strength capacity in other ways. Now, again, that's just my journey with movement. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're looking to continue competing in powerlifting, or you just really need to, it feels good to just pick up heavy shit, for lack of a better word, and throw it down. I get that. I get it. Feed it. Feed the ego. Go do it. Just make sure you're checking in with your body after that. How do you feel when you're moving throughout your life? And if you're not in a place where you feel really good on a daily basis, or you at least feel aware of how to get yourself back to that homeostasis, then please never hesitate to reach out and let's talk about movement. Let's see if we can bring some awareness into those micro moments and movements in between, long outside of a gym setting. There's many cultures across the world that don't have 24-hour fitnesses. They don't have access to training facilities. They don't have the time. And so that's why it is a privilege to go into these settings. What a gift it is for us. But also, most of them, their life is their gym. Their life is their workout. And if we at least can honor What is keeping people able from birth all the way till these older ages? What is keeping them athletic? How do some of these extreme athletes have long careers? What are these people doing? And honor that, then the door gets blown wide open on our potential. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my own journey with movement for myself, the conversations that I'm having, the coaches that I'm working with, the people that we're educating, connecting with. It comes down to movement freedom. And for me right now, what's giving me movement freedom is honoring the natural state of the human body. And that's why I'm so passionate about these things, because I come from a place where I battled some dark times with injuries. That does a lot on your mind and body. And it was a hard place to be in, and a hard thing to look at myself in the mirror one day when my awareness was up-leveled, and really asking myself, is what I'm teaching people worth it? Is it helpful to them? They're stronger than they've ever been. I was stronger than I've ever been. Stronger, more mobile than I'd ever been. Well, actually, that's not true. I was just stronger than I'd ever been. I was definitely not mobile. But I was hurting. The people I were training were hurting. And I really had to think about, how was I training them? And I'm so glad that I swallowed my pride and my ego and continue to learn from others, to trust others, and to try. And to just try. And I fell in love with movement in a way that I didn't know was possible. And it truly does bleed into so many aspects of my life. I love to recess. I love to train. I love to help others train hard and be challenged. But I equally love the slow times, the decompression times, and the times when I can appreciate my body long outside of that gym. I would say, to leave you with a few things, we'll talk about it more, but start to notice, how does your body feel on a daily basis? How do your feet feel? What type of shoes are you wearing? Do they feel tight and restricted? Are you having calluses and bunions? Are you having shin splints, Achilles pain? How do your knees feel? There's a lot of jokes out there about, oh, when you get into this age, you start to hear all these pops. Not me, friends. My knees feel great. How do your knees feel? How do your hips feel when you wake up in the morning? Can you access the ground? Can you deep squat? Can you get back down here? I couldn't get back down here. How does it feel when you reach for the floor? I couldn't touch the ground before. How does it feel when you get out of bed and you go for a walk? Can you go for a run? Where are we at in our day-to-day? Those are the questions to ask yourself. And then reflect upon the answers. If there's some answers you don't like, maybe you have to reflect and sit with that. Do I like these answers? Do I want to settle with these answers? Or am I open and willing to unlearn and relearn, to step into the arena and put my body to the test, to get back to a state of freedom that we had when we were children? I want to get back to that because I want to play forever. I want to recess forever, and I'm on a mission to help you fall in love with recess too. I'll leave you with this. I feel like at this day and age, I feel better, stronger, faster, more mobile, and capable than I did in my younger ages, when I was a full-on athlete, when I was training to no end. I feel so strong and free in my mind and my body and my spirit, and I feel like I'm Benjamin Buttoning. And so if you're looking for that kind of freedom, I'm here for it. Please reach out to me. Thank you so much. If you made it to the end of this video, okay, if you're still here, we need to go for a walk. We need to get out of here. I've been rambling away for too long, and this was gonna be a short video of just some basic background. But classic CK style. This is gonna, again, if you're new here, just get used to this kind of style of talking, because it tends to go off on tangents. But if you're not new here, then you know the vibe. So, all right, it's time to go. It's time to move. It's time to go recess. Have a great day.